Hello there, good afternoon, a very warm welcome to Football Special, and good to be back with you once again. Well, this week we put the spotlight fairly and squarely right on the top of the 4th Division. Our main match is the local derby between second place Huddersfield and 4th place Bradford City. We'll see also how the league leaders Walsall fared at 3rd place Portsmouth. So we're looking then at the top 4 teams in Division 4. We'll also look at that very tense situation at the top of Division 3 and bring you action from Colchester against Brentford. But we open with Huddersfield against Bradford City. Huddersfield, as I say, before this match, second in the table, 6 points behind the leaders Walsall, but beaten only once in the past 12 matches. Bradford City, 4th, just a couple of points behind Huddersfield. Points absolutely vital for both sides, and the commentator, Martin Tyler.
Before the match, a presentation of a cut-glass decanter to Peter Hart, the Huddersfield captain, to mark his 200th league game for the club, which took place last Saturday. Chris Topping takes his place in this West Yorkshire derby for Huddersfield Town because Keith Hanby sustained a severe cut on his foot in training yesterday. An ironic injury, really, in a collision with a reserve player, Brett Mellor, who in practice was acting out the role of Steve Baines, the Bradford City centre-half. That's the only change in this Huddersfield Town side. Bernard Purdy has proved to be a successful alternative to Fred Robinson at left-back. Huddersfield are the top scorers in the Football League with 79 goals. Bradford City, meanwhile, have hit their worst injury spell of the season. Terry Cooper, Gary Watson and Alan Thompson are all unavailable in defence. Mick Bates is missing in midfield, and so too is Lammy Robertson, whose back injury yesterday caused the late reshuffle that has brought David Staniforth back into the side in an unaccustomed midfield role. Remarkably, Bradford City have 5 former Huddersfield players in this team, Bobby Campbell and Steve Baines of more recent years, and 3 players who represented Huddersfield in the First Division in the early 70s. Alan Jones, who began his career here at Leeds Road before moving on to Halifax, Chesterfield and Lincoln. Les Chapman, who has played for Oldham and Stockport since leaving Leeds Road in 1974, and Terry Dolan, who was also in the Bradford City side, which won promotion 3 years ago. Today's referee, a replacement referee, in fact, Peter Willis, who only heard he was doing this game on Thursday evening, a familiar figure in the Football League, a police constable from County Durham, where he's the school's road safety officer. And this match has brought a big crowd to Leeds Road, reminiscent of the days in the First Division in the early 70s. So it's Huddersfield Town who kick off in their blue and white striped shirts, playing from left to right in this first half. Bradford City today in amber shirts and maroon shorts. A touch from Steve Kindon. Huddersfield only 1 defeat in their last 12 games. Bradford City unbeaten in their last 8 games. So a clash between 2 teams really in the very best of form at the top of the 4th Division. The pitch is in good condition after the bad weather of the week. Slightly on the soft side, but the players very pleased with it when they acted before the game. Peter Jackson feeding Kindon to the ball. The 18-year-old central defender, born in Bradford. Hart. A strong man in the Huddersfield midfield. Purdy. This is Laverick. Hart again. Huddersfield as yet haven't really put their game together. Now Purdy. Laverick under pressure from Staniforth. Brown. Stanton. No chance really for Brown to get that return pass. Intelligent ball forward from Les Chapman. Wood left in a lot of space. Chapman. Again, it's Hart who wins the ball. Here's Dolan. Campbell, again able to get contact, but Bradford City unable to feed off the flick. Andy Rankin, who's won promotion in each of the past 2 seasons with Watford. Campbell beaten by Sutton this time. Stanton taking his eye off the ball. Robbins, who shows well in front for Huddersfield. Baines and Kindon again in a mighty tussle. Laverick. Purdy, guided on nicely for Cowling. Purdy going forward again in support. And Jackson can only tow it down for Laverick. Staniforth's tackle. Brown's pass dropping behind Cowling. Alan Jones is the Bradford City player down injured. So Jones has to go off for some more treatment. It really has been a worrying spell for Bradford City with injuries. In their match last week, Mick Bates had to go off after only 5 minutes with an injury that caused him to miss this match. And City down to 10 men for the moment, although I think Jones will be back shortly. Purdy. Here's Chapman. Now Hutchins. Laverick tracking back with him. Working well for Huddersfield Town. Brian Stanton. The game opening up a little. Hart. Now Brown. It was deflected for Stanton. Laid off nicely for Hart. Well, there was a concise touch about the build-up. Nicely chested down by Stanton. But Hart just leaning back as he hit it, and it went over the top. Laverick. And the referee hadn't given the signal. As Bradford City decide to make the substitution, so the injury to Alan Jones more serious than it originally appeared. Seth Pod, fortunately, is a perfect replacement positionally. Come on straight into the right back slot. So disappointment for Alan Jones in his return to Huddersfield Town. Hutchins. With a quarter now left of this first half. Laverick, another up and under. Kindon does well to win, but finds himself without support. Hutchins. Chapman, who has been busy in midfield for Bradford. And again. Still finding McNiven, even though he was in a tight corner. The ball breaks for Hart. Kindon trying to stretch away from Jackson. Stanton taking over. Back to give away the free kick. Which is a particular threat to Bradford City from this sort of position. Huddersfield so good at exploiting situations with a lot of height in their side. They work really hard on making the most of free kicks in these type of positions. Topping is up, Sutton is up. Brown will take it. There's the movement, looking for Robbins, and it's a corner. It's the near post, which is the crucial area for Bradford City to defend. Brown and Sutton and Topping will all make their presence felt there. Cowling curls it in. Well met by Campbell. And here's Hutchins. Brown wins it back. Cut out by Wood. Topping. Maverick turning well, collected by Hart. He played it really without looking. Straight to Pod. And that will go behind off McLaverick for a Bradford City corner. There's Chapman, who's already played here once this season for Stockport County. He's on the wrong end of a 5-0 scoreline then. His corner, and Chapman bending it in towards Campbell, who is disappointed to be penalised. Really teasing corner that Andy Rankin had to come for. You can see the determination of Campbell's challenge, which was ruled unfair. Kinden. Now Stanton. Robbins going to the near post. Oh, he's so good at holding the ball up. Pod just able to muscle past him. And that looks like a foul given away by Jackson. A push on Malcolm Brown. So again, Huddersfield apply pressure from a set piece. Brown going into the middle to take up his position. Cowling will take it. Coming towards Sutton. Beaten well by Baines. Hart. And that is a penalty. No, the referee says no. Well, Huddersfield players hang their heads. It was Baines who headed it out. Collected by Hart, who turned and was surely tripped. I think it was Chapman. But here's Robin. So 2 moments of disappointment for Huddersfield Town. And the yellow card is out for Steve Kinden. The protest still surely about the penalty. It may be that the Huddersfield players also felt that Smith got a hand to that Robbins effort. And it's a goal kick. Jackson. Here's Stanifor. Collected by Chapman. Pod. Pod again. Campbell. Trying to play Pod through, and it almost worked for Bradford City. Pod applauds the pass. And Bobby Campbell dropping deep, and striker turning creator, or almost so. That delicately floated pass that was just too long for Pod to collect. And Mr. Willis blows the half-time whistle. And it's the referee, really, who has been the central figure in a half in which the tension of this West Yorkshire derby has perhaps stunted some of the skill in both sides, but the talking point at half-time really was that a penalty when Peter Hart went tumbling down. The referee said no, and that's why at half-time here at Leeds Road it's Huddersfield Town 0, Bradford City 0. So it's Bradford City who will start the second half on a ground where they really haven't had the best of fortunes over the years in terms of scoring goals. You have to go back to the 1921-22 season to find the last time that Bradford City scored a league goal here at Huddersfield. So they've had the better of the goalless first half. And here's Les Chapman for them. Free kick given for a little bit of obstruction. So Huddersfield pulling everyone back. City attacking the goal in the second half, behind which their supporters amassed. Hutchins and Dolan over the ball. McNiven on the end of the wall, and it struck Robbins from Dolan's shot. Hutchins. And Campbell going in. A week ago, Huddersfield struggled here. Couldn't break down stern resistance from Peterborough. The game today. Baines. There goes Pod. Really all over the field. The marking is so disciplined that chances will be few and far between. Stanifor. Here's Pod. Return off Purdy. Niven couldn't collect. Perhaps Campbell can. Trying to feed Dolan. Well, again, the build-up was sound. He really needed the finish. Terry Dolan was under pressure as he went into the shot. Pod getting a yard on Bernard Purdy. It went beyond McNiven, but Campbell collected it and tried to set up Dolan. His shot well wide. Here's Hart. Robbins. Hart again. And Smith had to hang on to that with Stanton following up. Again, as the case with Dolan a moment or two ago, it's a supporting player getting up from midfield who gets the strike in at goal, this time Peter Hart. It needed good handling from Steve Smith. And in fact today just under 15,000, 1,500 less than the best at Leeds Road this season. Laverick. And Smith was in trouble. Just sort of spooned it away towards Kinden. Back from Cowling. Here's Hart. And Jackson let it run. And almost saw the ball roll into the stride of Kinden from Peter Hart. And the first cross that had Steve Smith in trouble wasn't a very convincing attempt to save, although it got it away from the immediate danger area. Kinden kept Huddersfield in possession. It was Cowling's cross that was only partially cleared as far as Hart. And then Jackson let it run. And it was the right decision. The Huddersfield supporters calling for the substitute Peter Fletcher. It'll be interesting to see whether Luke Buxton is satisfied with 1 point from this game. And whether he will make the gambler's throw with his substitute. Purdy. Cowling. Caught by Baines. Free kick to Huddersfield. When you get hit by Steve Baines, you tend to stay hit. Nothing really vicious about the challenge, but it was a strong impact. Cowling just got a touch of the ball and made himself open for the challenge that followed. Peter Fletcher continues to warm up. Well, the decision was a corner, and not a free kick. Got by Staniforth. Again, Bradford City totally aware of that threat at the near post. Purdy. Got through a couple of players, but not past Staniforth. Brown. The Huddersfield supporters try to lift their side. Taking on Chapman. And driving in the cross. Robbins didn't make it. Goal kick. And again Kindon leads the protest, and he'll have to be careful. Already booked. But it was the first real surge we've seen from Malcolm Brown. Pace which carried him past Chapman and then past Mick Wood. And the cross arrowed towards Ian Robbins, but couldn't get any real contact to it, and then it slithered through all the legs and out for a goal kick. Laverick. Blocked by Les Chapman. Brown. Robbins. Pulled back by Baines. Steve Baines gets the yellow card, and it's Baines in fact who will start suspension next week already for reaching 20 points, and you could quite clearly see the hand snake out and pull back Ian Robbins. Certainly it was an effective foul by the Bradford City centre-half, because Robbins really for the first time this afternoon seems to be in the clear. Kindon takes charge of things at free kicks for Huddersfield Town. If he sees a gap, he'll strike it at goal. It's deflected off McNiven. Cowling, as Jackson slips, is allowed to recover. No time for anything but the safest of clearances for Bradford City. Put out by Baines. So this, so often the way that Huddersfield find a route to goal. Kept them ticking over all season, goals from corners and free kicks. Again it's Staniforth for the third or fourth time making a crucial interception at the near post. Peter Fletcher comes on with 9 minutes remaining, and it's Dave Cowling who's gone off. Still time for Huddersfield. Chapman just got a touch, which was enough to give Baines a chance. And here's Purdy. Everyone back now for City. Robbins complaining that he was being held by Jackson. The 90 minutes are up. Robbins. Fletcher coming in again. Away from Hutchins. The referee looking to the linesman, has acknowledged the signals and has the watch out. Arthur want to get this throw in quickly. Fletcher away from Wood. And in the end, it's a stalemate so often associated with derby games. Certainly not a defensive match, but perhaps both sides knowing each other so well that they were able to cancel each other out. A satisfying day, particularly for the 5 ex-Huddersfield players in the Bradford City side. Les Chapman, Bobby Campbell and Steve Baines battling particularly well. Huddersfield's point is their 50th of the season, and for Bradford City really another example of their recent consistency. 9 games now unbeaten and 6 of them away from home. A full-time score then at Leeds Road, Huddersfield Town 0, Bradford City 0.
So then, a game that never quite lived up to its pre-match billing, but I suppose in a way that was perhaps inevitable. The important thing is it was a point of peace for both sides, a point that takes them both a step closer to Division 3.